I'm here so I won't get fined.
You think you know sports? Well, you don't know Jack. The You Don't Know Jack Show starts now.
Hello and welcome to the You Don't Have a Quarterback Show with Tony Romo.
Hey.
Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't want to be Teddy.
And the San Francisco 49ers. And today on the You Don't Know Jack Show. It's the You Don't Know Jack Show. But today's show, we're calling it the You Don't Have a Quarterback Show. Anyways, both the Vikings and Cowboys losing their starting quarterbacks for at least, for the Cowboys, at least for a while, and the Vikings for the whole season. So we're going to jump right into it here and talk about Tony Romo and his back injury. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett announced Saturday that starting quarterback Tony Romo underwent an MRI on Friday that revealed a broken bone in his back. This was per David Hellman of the team's official website. Garrett labeled Romo day-to-day and refused to give a timetable for his return, but NFL media insider Ian Rappaport reported that the quarterback's best-case scenario is returning by mid-season after suffering a compression fracture of his vertebrae, and that was per a source informed of the situation. So Rappaport noted that Romo broke a different bone than in 2014 when he suffered two fractures in his transverse process and would likely need an epidural to play. The hope is that Romo will return after the bye for his team's Week 8 showdown with the Eagles. Garrett saying, "We're confident that he's going to be coming back and playing football for us this year." So, Jonah, we'll start with you. What do you think about the Tony Romo injury?
Well, obviously, as a Cowboys fan, you don't really want that to happen. But since he went down, already last year too, I think Dak will probably be really good though as a backup.
Aaron?
It's unfortunate, obviously. A lot of different timetables as to when he can come back. That's why he hasn't put a time on it. I would say he could come back sooner than Week 8, in all honesty. David Carr said he had a similar injury when he played, and he played just fine with it. Not saying they're going to play him before he's healthy, but if they need to, maybe. But the first half of the schedule isn't very hard, and I like what I've seen from Dak, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal, but yeah, we'll see.
And then there's the Teddy Bridgewater injury. And that is totally unexpected news and totally unexpected how it happened. Tony Romo, I think he'll be out for a while. We'll discuss that a little bit more later on what we think about Dak and the rest of the quarterback situation for the Cowboys. But right now, talk about Teddy Bridgewater. He suffered an anterior cruciate ligament and a dislocated knee, so an ACL tear, complete tear, and a dislocated knee. At Tuesday's practice, the team confirmed Bridgewater is expected to miss the upcoming season, and he did not suffer nerve damage and is eventually expected to make a full recovery. Teddy Bridgewater suffered a non-contact injury at practice, according to Eric Sugarman, the team's trainer, and the injury was quickly identified as a dislocated knee. The injury was stabilized, and he was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment and evaluation. After undergoing an MRI, it was determined that Teddy suffered a complete tear to his ACL and other structural damage. So, obviously, the Vikings quarterback situation is not what they want it to be now, as Bridgewater is out for the season. I'm going to say that Sean Hill's going to for sure start the first couple of games. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. Teddy's a good guy. He's a young quarterback. He was poised to have a really good season this year if he didn't tear his ACL, but obviously that's too bad, and he could miss even some time into next season because of the dislocation and the ACL. That takes longer to return from than just a regular ACL injury, but I'd say Sean Hill will start at least the first couple of games no matter who they get. If they did, well, they're going to have to get somebody, I think, to back up Sean Hill at least, but that's kind of where I'm at. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, yeah, that kind of screws them over as far as winning the division, which I picked the Packers to win it anyway, but now it probably won't be as close. I don't know. It depends on. I haven't really seen Sean Hill play that much, so I don't know, but I could see him going out and getting somebody. But yeah, they didn't really revolve around their quarterback anyway. So they still should be able to win some games, but that is unfortunate.
Jonah?
Yeah, obviously, Cowboys had that too, where they had to play Whedon last year, and obviously you saw how well that went. But yeah, losing a starting quarterback is obviously probably one of the worst things that you could have happen, if you think about it.
Well, too, when you think about the Vikings as a team, quarterback was really the position they couldn't have happened, that an injury. I think the Vikings would have been fine if Peterson would have been hurt even because, I mean, you got Jerick McKinnon, Asiata's all right, and I really like C.J. Ham, who they've been using in preseason games too. So, I mean, the offense would look different without Peterson, obviously, but I think the Vikings offense could still be pretty darn good.
They went 7-9 a couple of years back without Peterson, so.
And that was Bridgewater's rookie year, and he really didn't get full reins of the offense until like the last 5 weeks of the season, and he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at that time in those last 5 weeks. So could be interesting to see what he could do with Peterson if he was hurt again sometime soon, or he might even find out next year because the Vikings might be without Peterson next year because his contract is going to be like $18 million he's supposed to earn. So the Vikings could get rid of him. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to pay anybody that runs the football $18 million, but I don't care. I don't care if he's Hall of Fame material or not. I don't think I'd pay a running back that much.
Not at his old age. If he was younger, maybe, but
he's
getting up there in age.
So obviously a tough situation. I think the Vikings they did re-sign Brad Sorensen, the guy they waived and cut.
They should play Joel Stave.
Yeah, Joel Staves will.
Maybe he'll get a chance.
He'll get a chance. I'm sure for sure he's going to play tomorrow night or tonight actually. We're recording this on Thursday afternoon around 2:00. But anyways, yeah, the Vikings will probably play Stave tonight. I don't know how much Sean Hill will play. If I were the Vikings, I wouldn't want him to play much at all because if he gets hurt, then you really are in trouble.
That could be. He could be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Ryan Fitzpatrick has better weapons.
Yeah.
As like Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, but yeah, I don't know. He'll struggle because they don't really have much receiving options.
I think Stephon Diggs will be a big part of the offense with him even yet, and I think Charles Johnson could be a little under the radar this season. He's got a possibility of actually starting in front of Laquan Treadwell, and Rudolph is kind of hot and cold sometimes. McKinnon, I think they're going to have to use him way more in the offense with Teddy's injury, I think, to throw the defense off more.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it on Bridgewater. We'll talk more about who they should get in a little bit. One of the possible candidates we'll talk about right here. So Collin Kaepernick, if you didn't hear, which I think about 90% of the world has already heard, that he sat down during the playing of the national anthem. The last preseason game they had, the 49ers, and obviously that struck up some controversy, and now striking even more controversy today. This is from abcnews.go.com. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Collin Kaepernick says he plans to sit out the national anthem again tonight. Tonight's game against the Packers preseason last week. He says he says protests will continue indefinitely when there's significant change, and I feel that the flag represents what it's supposed to represent in this country. I'll stand, Kaepernick told reporters on Sunday. And he kind of reiterated that this week. He says he plans to sit, and it's supposed to be military night tonight in San Diego. I mean, it says 49ers game today in San Diego is particularly noteworthy because it is military night. So I don't know why they're playing in San Diego. Maybe it's because of military night. I don't know. But anyways, so if he doesn't stand tonight, how much disrespect is that to the country, Jonah?
Obviously, Kaepernick is kind of stupid for not standing, and I really don't get what his big deal is. Why would you consider making yourself a bad guy by not standing for the? I think it's just dumb.
Yeah. I guess from my point of view, I understand why he does it and why he's doing it, but why would you do it in the national anthem during a football game, and the eyes are on you, you have kids that are looking up to you, whether people believe it or not, whether it should be the case or not, little kids look up to professional athletes, and look at us. We look up to professional athletes, and we're 19, 20, and 24 years old.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the things. You look up to these guys, and when you pull a stunt like this, it's like you're trying to tell us to not respect our country. Aaron, what do you think?
I don't think he meant for it to be like that. He just chose the wrong way of standing up for that, like a lot of people have been saying. I don't agree with the way he did it. And the way he did it overshadows why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So now all people are focused on is him disrespecting the country, but I don't think he's doing that. And he's made it clear that he isn't doing that, but just from that action, that's what it seems like. So I think it was the wrong action.
Well, I said that he definitely has the right to do it because there's no law that says you have to stand, but you still live in the country, you still live in the United States that pays you $12 million a year to be a backup quarterback. I think there's something to be said about...
That's like the flip side. But he said himself that he wasn't oppressed, which is obvious.
Yeah.
It was for the other people, but it kind of made it seem like he was doing it for himself. So people are starting to think, well, you get paid this much, and you're not oppressed at all. What are you talking about?
Okay, I made a mistake. He sat out of the national anthem against Green Bay, and he's going to do it against San Diego on military night tonight. Okay, so that makes more sense. But yeah, I think he has the right to do it, and I understand why he did it, but I just wish he would have done it in a different way, a different time. Kind of like how LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul and all of them did that at the ESPYs, I think it was.
Yeah, even
I would take
Michael
that.
Jordan even wrote a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. And he's actually getting support from a lot of people. That Veterans for Kaepernick thing.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked he's getting any support at all. I agree with why he did it, but the way he did it shouldn't be condoned or supported at all.
And we will be right back with a little bit more on Collin Kaepernick, and then we'll talk about the Broncos quarterback decision after this. Do you like shopping on Amazon? Well, now you can do it by helping the show at the same time. Go to the website youdon'tknowjackshow.com and click on any of the Amazon links, and then you can bookmark it. And every time you shop on Amazon, click the bookmark. It's the easiest way to support us without any extra cost to you. Now back to the show. Welcome back to the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the 49ers quarterback situation. Kaepernick, I think obviously if you think about it, you look at it on paper, I would say Kaepernick is the logical decision to go with him as your starter. Aaron, what do you think?
I don't know. I think he would fit well in that system, but he's just not, he just hasn't played well since he used to be the starter. And I don't know. He's got to prove it on the field.
So I think his career is about over. That's why I played the toilet
like,
flush.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, pretty much, unless he proves otherwise.
I think, I don't know if the 49ers are even going to keep him on the roster, and then after that, I don't know if anybody's going to pick him up.
I could see the Vikings picking him up.
I would not trade for him if I were the Vikings, but if they decide to cut him, I would definitely think about it at least.
I wouldn't pay him $11 million.
No. I wouldn't pay him. I wouldn't pay him even $8 million. I wouldn't think, unless you had to, he begged you to, which he could kind of do because the Vikings could be at his mercy if he's a free agent. So, anyways, Jonah, what do you think about the 49ers situation? Who do you think they should start? They got Blaine Gabbert, Kaepernick, and I think that's basically
Christian
it.
Ponder.
Oh, yeah, Christian Ponder, I forgot.
Start him.
I honestly think that they really haven't much had a chance the past few years because, Kaepernick was pretty good, when they made the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I'm not sure if he's starter material at the moment anymore.
Yeah, the Super Bowl kind of seems like it was his ceiling, and then he just kind of went down.
Tanked. And then Gabbert, I haven't seen him play really, and
Gabbert's decent.
he's not. I wouldn't say he's starter material either.
I don't think either of them are, and I don't think either of the three in Denver are either.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here next.
I wouldn't start any of them, but obviously you have to, so I'd probably say Ponder because.
Wow. You are dumb.
They really have no.
Blaine Gabbert's better than Christian Ponder.
I don't know. It might be a toss-up.
Christian Ponder is terrible.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But I would say, if I'm the 49ers, I would say start Kaepernick at least for a few weeks just to see how it goes, just to see how he does under Chip Kelly's system.
You would think he would flourish in a system like that, but he just has too many issues other than football, I think.
And maybe he would fit well with the Vikings since he probably wouldn't have to do a whole lot, just hand the ball to Peterson and fool the defense with play action. And
that's why the Vikings should go get Peyton out of retirement.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back, though. That's what it sounds like anyway.
Go get Brett Favre.
Yeah, I saw that picture of Brett Favre and his caveman look. He's got a beard and his long hair is like, hey, Minnesota, I'm your guy.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know about that. And then we'll talk a little bit about more of the Vikings options here in a little bit. But now we'll talk briefly about the Broncos, who decided to name Trevor Siemian their starter. And some of you are probably thinking, who?
Played for Northwestern.
He played for Northwestern.
Iowa fans know him.
Yeah, Iowa fans know him. Yeah, I definitely know him. Aaron knows him, and
no name.
He's a no-name for a lot of people. But back in March, after Peyton Manning retired and Brock Osweiler. Anyways, Brock Osweiler defected to Houston and the Broncos busted the glass in the event of emergency and traded for Mark Sanchez, a member of the organization, told me that they really, really like Trevor Siemian. The person then told me to stop laughing before pointing out that Siemian had a year in the system and that he had a chance to learn from Manning and Osweiler. They weren't just blowing smoke. On Monday, Siemian was named the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos.
Woo! Way to go.
So,
Woo!
the crowd was laughing at that one. They don't like that idea. But really, the only other option is Mark Sanchez, and I don't think that's going to work out.
Well, who would you rather have, Siemian or Sean Hill?
Ooh,
that's a tough
You know
one.
what I mean?
I don't know. They both wear 13, according to this picture we have via the Pro Football Talk .nbcsports.com.
Well, they say he looks good, and they trust him, so.
And they also have rookie Paxton Lynch on the roster.
They also still have a good defense, too.
Yeah, they have a phenomenal defense. I don't think it's going to be as good. That's why I think I predicted the Broncos to be like 6-10 this year.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
probably not going to do much.
Maybe draft a quarterback next year.
Yeah, I'd say I'd see how Siemian does the first 8 weeks, and then if Paxton Lynch looks better, like in practice or something, I would change it up.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't start Sanchez at all.
Well, Sanchez might be cut.
Yeah.
That's what it's sounding like, because
the Vikings are going to grab
Vikings
him.
might pick him up, yeah.
Because the deal with the Eagles was if Mark Sanchez doesn't make the 53-man roster for the Broncos, that the Eagles don't get their draft pick. So if he's cut.
What draft pick does that?
It was like a 6th, 7th round pick, something like that.
Well, Tom Brady was picked in the 7th round. So.
Yeah. So, but the Broncos would get their pick back if they cut Mark Sanchez. So that was quite a good deal if you think about it by John Elway.
So they can just cut him.
So they could cut him and be like, hey, you don't get your quarterback, you don't get your draft pick. And then the Vikings will pick up Sanchez for like 5 cents or something.
Yeah, and then
Sanchez will suck.
Yeah.
And then
That's exactly the opposite of what they need. They need somebody who doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Sean Hill is. I mean, he's pretty smart. He's not really a guy that turns the ball over too fast.
He won't put up great stats,
fumble.
but he won't turn it over either. So
it's
kind of like Alex Smith, who I'm really not a fan of because I think he's overrated. But
the ultimate game manager.
I don't know. The Chiefs used to look pretty good.
I think the
day,
Chiefs can only go so far with Alex Smith.
They do have a defense.
Just like the Niners only went so far with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Alex Smith just doesn't get you all the way there. You know?
No.
He's a decent quarterback.
Yeah,
but
he's just not like.
I think he's an NFL starting caliber quarterback, but I definitely wouldn't put him in the top 15. I don't even think.
He just can't
top 20 definitely.
He can't win the big games, you know.
Yeah. So that's why I think in my predictions I predicted the Raiders to win that division.
You know, the Vikings could get Aaron Murray.
Yeah, that was a possibility too. Also heard about the possibility of Geno Smith.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Josh McCown.
He actually played well last year.
I think there was another one.
See, I don't get why the
Kaepernick.
Browns are starting
Kaepernick too, but
Griffin when McCown played well last year, I thought.
I think I saw.
Tavares Jackson is a free agent.
Oh yeah, go get him again.
Yeah, Tavares.
What was our record with him? Like 5-11.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Good God.
It was not good.
Yeah, that year with the Seahawks too.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if it's real or not, but I saw there was a report on Mike Vick being impossible.
He's still hanging around there. I kind of wish the Cowboys would have got him. So he can still play pretty well.
Yeah, but he's like 36.
He could still sling it. He can't run like he used to. But.
That's true.
Yeah, there's possibility the Vikings go after him too.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's kind of like an iffy type thing.
I think all the quarterbacks out there are iffy right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
The ones available, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say would be like the most prominent?
The best out of those guys, all those guys we listed would probably be Mike Vick.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I'd probably say that too. Well, good luck, Vikings.
Yeah. We'll see how the Vikings do with that, their situation. Let's see, what do we got next on our list? It is RG3. Oh, like I said, it's the quarterback show today.
Just talked about him.
So RG3.
Start Josh McCown.
So Aaron already thinks they should start Josh McCown. So how do you think RG3 will perform this year, and how do you think he will be a pretty big story throughout the season, or will he be very
I'm kind
weak?
of rooting for him, to be honest. I didn't mind him. I just didn't like him because he played for the Redskins.
Yeah.
But what happened to him is unfortunate, and you never want to make fun of somebody getting hurt. Although I've seen a lot of people making fun of Romo, which is sad. Stupid people out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. He shouldn't have played in that playoff game. He probably would have been fine by now, but it is what it is. Kind of like the Bears in the NFL.
Yeah. Could you imagine him not having that injury?
Once,
If he would still be,
looked like an MVP one year, and then
yeah.
it's been hurt.
That
ever
rookie
since.
year, he just came out slinging, and he looked like really good.
Yeah, so.
And then he got injured, and
Best
then,
of luck to him.
It pretty
but
much
he's
almost ruined his career.
He's not in a very great position.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's got the right head coach. I think Hugh Jackson's a good coach, and if RG3's got anything left in his career, I think it's going to be from Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, I think somebody just needs to get it out of him. I think you're right about that.
I think he was.
I don't think he'll have the weapons unless Josh Gordon goes back to his old self. And
he was in Washington.
I do have Corey
for too
Coleman.
long,
I like him.
I think.
they do have Gary Barnidge.
Gary Barnidge, yeah.
Yeah,
He'll probably throw it
I think
out.
RG3 was in Washington for too long.
Yeah.
He tried to make it work, and it wouldn't
I
work.
think he should have just went to the
Redskins are
Rams,
horrible.
and then everybody would have been fine.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're saying, wasn't it the Rams that had that number 2 pick, and that they traded it to...
Yeah, they traded down, I think.
how'd that work
now
out
they
for
get
the
Jared
Rams?
Goff, and he's not looking good.
Yeah, that's another issue we could have talked about today.
It's unfortunate, because they have a good defense and a good run game, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, RG3 could have an interesting season. Could be really bad, could be really good.
Like I
Either
said,
way, the
I'm
Browns
pulling
aren't making
for
the playoffs.
No, they're not.
No.
They'll be in the cellar, but I'm pulling for them.
Yeah, no, I think he's a good guy. One thing I was very disappointed with is I heard he got divorced because he found a new girlfriend, and he's already got the girlfriend's name tattooed to his arm or something.
Oh God.
It's like, seriously, you're just married and now you got this? It's like a little bit immature, so I don't know how his maturity is on the field, but if it's anything compared to like that is pretty sad.
Yeah, it's a lot of behind
I don't
the
really
scenes
care
with,
about that,
with that
'cause
marriage stuff.
over 50% of Americans get divorced.
sure he's
Yeah.
I'm sure he's had that
That's what it
girlfriend
is,
for how long?
It is kind of sad he's got a tattoo of her name already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole divorce thing, a lot of people get divorced. So
Yeah.
That's not a huge deal. I don't think. But
Now we'll move on.
so you don't get tattoos.
Yeah.
unless you actually want it. Like you have to think that out thoroughly.
Yeah.
I could think of a couple that I'd want, but anyway.
All right. Moving on to Rookie of the Year candidate. Jonah, who do you have as your Rookie of the Year candidate? Like leading the way right now, as in.
Well, offense or defense.
Either way. Who do you think? Well, let's do both. Who do you think on offense?
You mean starting the year?
Yeah.
As of right
who do you
now?
think has the best chance as the year starts to win the Rookie of the Year by the end of the season?
Dak Prescott.
Well, I was gonna say him, but
No.
I
Zeke.
would probably say, that is a tough one. Yeah, I probably would say Zeke just because.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna
Who for
perform really well.
defense?
Well, we'll talk about defense next. You're going to say Zeke, too?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially behind that line.
It's going to be good.
And I have him on my
It's gonna be fun to
fantasy
watch.
team, too. So let's do this.
Here we go.
I'm going to pick Adrian Peterson.
Who's in the top? I'm thinking who's in the top 5. Don't think it's going to be one of the quarterbacks that was drafted.
Not
That's
be
for sure.
Treadwell, especially not.
No, it's not going to be Treadwell. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Zeke too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's unanimous. Give it to him. Give him the award.
So we're going to give him the award before the season starts. And I'll start by giving my defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. I think it's going to be Jalen Ramsey.
I was going to say that, too.
And
Well, we got DeForest Buckner, too.
And who did you get drafted by?
The Niners. Like the 7th pick, I think. He's a beast, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jalen's probably Miles Jack too.
Yeah.
Same team.
I don't know much about defense, so.
Oh, yeah, you don't know anything.
You can probably just skip
Why
skip
is he
me.
even on this show?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jonah,
very
Just
come
say
on.
a name. Just say Jalen Ramsey. Okay. Miles Jack.
I don't know.
I'm
who
gonna
that
say
is.
Anthony Barr.
I'm gonna say DeMarcus Ware.
Ouch.
No.
Yeah, and I'm not sure.
I'll probably say Ramsey, I guess. I don't know.
Rams. Why are you buzzing that one?
Stop it.
Because he keeps copying people.
Well,
That's all you can do.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't watch it for the defense.
I'm gonna pick Dak Prescott for the defensive rookie.
Yeah.
And then Zeke for the offensive rookie.
Nah.
We good. All right.
So that's where we're at on the Rookie of the Year candidates.
Yay or
And
nay, our favorite game.
Well,
Jonah
why,
said
if we're doing Rookie of the Year, why haven't we done, like, MVP?
we will talk about MVP
Oh.
in just a little bit. We are going to, first of all, take a break, and we'll be right back to play some Yay or Nay NFL Edition. Back after this.
Hey listeners, don't forget to find You Don't Know Jack Show on Facebook at facebook.com/You Don't Know Jack Show, Twitter at twitter.com/Don't Know Jack Show, and Instagram at instagram.com/You Don't Know Jack Show. You can also follow Carson on Twitter at Radio Ruben. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. This time we will play a little NFL edition of Yay or Nay, and we're going to start with Jonah. Yay or nay to both the Vikings and Cowboys will still make the playoffs despite losing their starting quarterbacks.
I'd probably say it'd be a lot harder for the Vikings too, but I think the Cowboys will probably make it pretty far with Dak in. I think he looks like he's got potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy that. I think that the Cowboys division's super easy. It probably takes like 8-9 wins to win it. Romo's coming back. They still have the best line. Their defense is a little shaky. But yeah, I think, and like I said, the first like 5 or 6 games are pretty easy. Like it's the Giants, Redskins, like the Bears, the Niners. Like it's not gonna be anything crazy. But yeah, I think the Vikings can. I think the Cowboys will, and I think the Vikings can. But I see the Cowboys having an easier chance because of scheduling.
I'd say if the Vikings get the right pieces, like the right quarterback and everything, they would have a chance to make it. But
I'm going to say yay to both. I'm not going to put money on this or anything, but I do think both teams still can make the playoffs. I think I don't think the Vikings are going to win their division anymore. But
I didn't think that in the first place.
Well, I thought it in the first place, but I don't think they're going to win it anymore. But I still believe they can make the playoffs.
They could.
I think Peterson's still Peterson. Sean Hill's just got to make the throws at the right time,
Like
which
I said,
think he can.
They didn't rely on Teddy
and
a whole lot.
I think their defense is going to be pretty darn good this year again. I think it's going to be even better than last year. More growth with the young players, and we didn't lose anybody really on defense.
I think until they can get improved play from the quarterback, they're not going to make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if Teddy comes back and then has a breakout year when he comes back, then I could maybe even say Super Bowl, but who knows?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
What happened with Peterson?
I guess the
When he came
Broncos
back.
did win with Peyton last year. But
He had a really big
We'll
year.
see if the Vikings defense can be that good.
yeah, that defense is a little bit better.
That is true.
So now, next question. We'll start with Aaron. Yay or nay, Collin Kaepernick will not play a snap in the NFL regular season.
I'm going to say nay because Chip Kelly's weird, and he'll probably play on our receiver.
Receiver.
No, but
tight end.
I think he'll play. Chip Kelly is, like I said, he's an unorthodox, unordinary type of coach where he'll make weird changes and stuff. So I think they'll at least give him a shot. Will he play well? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
you know,
I feel like
he'll probably play at very least one snap,
I
even
feel
if it's
like-
like a quarterback kneel or something.
I feel like for the 49ers, it's not just the QB that's the problem. You know,
Oh yeah.
they have,
I don't really
they have
have a
way more
receiving core
problems
either.
Yeah.
Torrey Smith's all they got.
than QB.
Yeah. I don't think it really matters who they put at quarterback this year for the 49ers.
They still do have
Yeah, see-
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
The
He's-
difference,
he's
though,
pretty
the
decent.
difference
Other than
between
that.
them and the Vikings, though, the Vikings have, their running back, they have their defense, they
It's
have
sad what happened
pretty
to.
decent receiving core.
It's sad what happened to the Niners because they were so good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
After that
That
Super
defense
Bowl,
just fell apart.
after that Super Bowl, they just
Well, it
they
was
just got
Trent Baalke and whatever his face's name's fault for letting Jim Harbaugh go.
Yeah, that
That's
too.
true.
They lost.
That was a big part of why the
yeah, now they have
49ers
Chip
aren't.
Kelly. God.
Yeah.
Good
so
luck.
add
I
another.
wish him luck, but
So add another arrogant college coach after the first one
if
didn't
you're a
work
Niners fan, all I'm saying is don't get your hopes up for anything.
yeah.
out. Don't
ever.
get your hopes up for 500.
Yeah.
So Jonah, did you think he will play a snap?
I'd probably say yeah, but it'd probably only be for a few games because Chip Kelly would be like, no, we gotta put in.
Well, Chip Kelly did go with Nick Foles over Mike Vick, wasn't it? Or no, something like that.
Do you think? Here's a question. Do you think Chip Kelly
played for
has
the
something
Eagles.
to prove that he's not racist? Like, do you think that he
I
would
think
be
it's-
taken as more racist if he cut Kaepernick?
I think he's just not getting the right players to fit his system.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like when he was with
When he
the
had-
Eagles, they got DeMarco Murray.
Yeah,
Like
when
he
they
didn't
had
fit
Murray.
that system at all. He's more of a power back.
yeah.
But I
And,
mean,
like,
like,
they had
that.
him
I mean,
running
like a lot of
around.
people were saying he was racist because he
I don't think-
he let go of a bunch of
don't
black
think so.
guys and got some white guys, and the whole Riley Cooper thing. Was,
I think he's not racist. He's just dumb for all the moves he's made.
well, that too. Which
It's like playing the wrong people.
Like, let's
and-
trade McCoy and get Murray, a guy who fits my system, and trade him for a guy who
yeah, no,
totally
it
was unproductive in my system.
Yeah, I
It
don't-
didn't make any sense.
I think he was just trying to ruin the Eagles and get out of there. Honestly.
Well, I applaud him for that.
Yeah.
Good job.
So, anyways, I will say Kaepernick will play a snap this season, but I don't.
Kneel down.
Yeah, kneel down.
Yeah.
Just a kneel.
But I don't see him playing more than 8 games.
Nah, probably not.
He'll probably play on the old
Yeah,
special
I
teams.
think you hit it on the head when you said that he hit a ceiling getting them to the Super Bowl. And
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then the
that
49ers as a team.
downhill. It's kind of like with
Yeah, they had the peak.
It's kind of like with Griffin, but I'm pulling for Griffin more than Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with
Kaepernick
Griffin
just seems
was
like a douche.
I think the
don't know.
problem
Well,
with
he is. He's been terrible in the locker room. He doesn't
Yeah.
get along with any of the
No.
players.
the problem with Griffin, he should have left, the Redskins earlier. Than,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and that was kind of the Redskins' fault too for letting him hang around, even though they didn't
Yeah,
want
they
him.
were
Yeah.
they were just holding on to that dream
that
Yeah.
he would
That
come back
hope.
and have an explosive
Oh,
year
we don't want to
again.
be stuck with Cousins. And now they're like, oh, we'll just stick it out with Cousins.
And then you got Kirk and your
Cousins actually didn't do
He's
too
not
bad,
that bad.
when RG3
He's not
went
that
down
bad,
the
but
first time.
I could see them going down to last place this year.
Well, that is
The Eagles had it wrapped up, I think.
3-13.
I think I said 2-14 for the
And
Eagles, or was it?
So it's
Eagles
gonna- it's
fans
gonna
are
go
the
back to-
worst too. So.
Oh yeah, and we also
It's gonna
found
go back
out
to normal.
today.
It's gonna go back to normal where the Giants and the Cowboys are,
It could
competing.
Be. It could
We
be.
also found out today that the city of Philadelphia will be hosting the draft this coming season.
Oh great!
That's
Oh,
gonna be
no.
awful.
Get ready for the booze.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw shit at Goodell.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope they do because Goodell
I
is the
kinda
one
hope they
that
do
is
too,
stupid
but-
enough to put it in Philadelphia.
Don't be throwing stuff at
worst
any
fan
of the
base.
Cowboys draft picks, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stephen A. Smith, but the Philadelphia Eagles have the worst fan base, not the Cowboys.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
could he even say that? The Cowboys have some of the most dedicated fans, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some parts that I like
Idiot.
when Stephen A. comes up with, but
Most of the shit he
A
says
lot of
is
those things,
dumb,
it's
and
like
it's blasphemy,
stupid.
and it's.
yeah.
I think I don't
Stupid.
like him or Skip,
How do you have the unglitimated gall to make that assumption? Blah, blah,
and
blah,
he
blah.
knows everybody too.
Yeah, yeah,
He's good friends with everybody.
yeah. He and I go back 20 years. Anyways, moving on to the next yay or nay question. We'll start with Jonah. The Vikings won't make a move to get a quarterback until after the final cuts, the final roster cuts after preseason game number 4. Yay or nay?
Well, I would say that they probably wouldn't, they probably would wait until final cuts just to make sure they have like a backup in case they get a starting quarterback. Like just in case things go
My
wrong.
question is, will they cut Stave or will they give him a chance?
I think
Yeah.
he's a definite candidate to make the practice squad for sure. I don't know if he'll stay on the 53 or not, but
Well, I just don't get why teams just cut people like that. Like, look at Tom Brady. He hardly drafted, and he just stayed around, and he's one of the best to ever play. So
yeah.
you never know unless you give the person a chance.
You never know.
Seriously, throw Stave in. Like, say you're getting blown out with Sean Hill, just throw Stave in there, and he throws a couple touchdowns.
yeah.
You're like, oh.
Stave's like,
That's what they did with Romo. Like, I think they had Drew Bledsoe at the time, and he got hurt or he got benched or whatever, and
and then Romo came in.
Romo
and-
finished out the year or whatever, and kind of played not that great. But the year after that, he played pretty well. So
It's like the Bridgewater story a few years ago
what's that?
when he played like the last
Who
5
did
games
they
or
have
whatever.
before him?
Before Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Well, Matt Castle started the season.
Oh Jesus!
Oh God.
Started the
Didn't they have
season,
McNabb for a while?
and he got hurt. Yeah, that was the year or two before that, I think.
Yeah. They had a lot of
That was
Had a
Donovan
lot of
Fatnab
quarterbacks.
instead of McNabb.
Yeah, he ate too many McDoubles.
Yeah, and
That's what
I've heard he's been in trouble with the law too and stuff, domestic violence crap.
Used to call him McScab. Scab on my.
My
Life.
prediction is that the Vikings will make a move after the first half of tonight's game. They'll make a decision right away and be like, "All right, we
They're
need to
gonna
get a
go
quarterback."
into the halftime locker room and be like,
All right.
"Okay, call the game. We're going to get a quarterback."
So I think they're gonna make a move before the final cuts.
I'd say
And then they're gonna have to cut somebody else.
for this game they do put Stavi in though. Just to
Well,
see
yeah,
what-
it's the fourth game. The
Yeah.
backups usually.
Well, I
play
really
the
don't know
whole
why
game.
they didn't take somebody or call somebody up yesterday and get somebody in, unless they're really, really thinking about this decision really hard.
I think
Yeah.
when you're in search of a quarterback, you really have to look at every option.
Yeah.
and weigh them,
But
Like Stave could be better than Sean Hill. We don't know.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He hasn't been given a chance really.
Stave played pretty well at Wisconsin, so.
But from a standpoint, if you want the new guy that you get to start right away, you'd have to get him in right away so he can learn the playbook and stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so if they play
so
Stave,
it's going to be Sean Hill starting the year for sure.
If they play Stave this game, you know, he'll like show if he has it or not, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough situation for any quarterback because, like I said, their receiving core is kind of, besides Diggs, it's kind of Rudolph freaking drops every pass in sight. So, I don't know. Be tough.
Charles Johnson, like I said, could be pretty decent this year.
I hope he is because I kind of actually liked him. I had him on my fantasy team 2 years ago. He played pretty well.
Thielen's all right. Like I said, McKinnon's a good weapon to have. And you never know what Treadwell can do. He made a really nice catch on a 2-point conversion try.
I think you were right about that separation thing. So I was watching the replay of the Vikings-Seahawks preseason game, and Treadwell just couldn't get any separation on most of the plays, and I was like, dang.
I think he's going to really work on that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, next yay or nay, we'll start with Aaron. Siemian will start all season for the Broncos, yay or nay?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Shoot. I don't know. It depends on how he plays, I guess. I think he won't, just because you never know what's going to happen.
Jonah?
I'd say for the Broncos, they would have to do, you know, what the Vikings are going to do, and they're going to have to, like, weigh if they have any other options other than Siemian to play.
Well, the Cowboys might have to do that at some point. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully not.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say Siemian probably won't play all year, but he'll play at least half.
And I think if they're bad, like you said, they'll probably put Paxton Lynch in there and
see what he can do.
Let him get confidence for next year.
And I think a lot's going to depend on if they have any hope of contending, too. Any hope of winning the division, I think.
Yeah, if he plays well, then obviously.
I think my prediction is Siemian's going to start for 8 games, and he's going to look decent, but Paxton Lynch is going to outperform him in practice, so they're going to give him a chance to start week 9 or whatever week. I don't know their schedule. But
something like that will happen, probably.
So that's the Siemian one. Yay or nay to this one, Jonah. RG3 will run himself out of Cleveland, whether it be off the field problems or poor play.
Actually, I don't know. Like Aaron said, you know, I'm actually hoping that, you know, he can make somewhat of a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I think RG3 might just play his heart out and, you know, just try and keep his job as much as possible.
I don't think it would be so much him running out of, like, I think they would run him out.
Yeah, I think
they would. Like
they would
what happened in
him.
Washington, because he didn't run himself out in Washington.
Yeah.
No.
He just got outplayed.
They just didn't want him anymore. So, I don't know. I'd say nay because I think they would run him out before he would run himself out.
Yeah.
Unless he was doing stupid shit like Kaepernick, but he doesn't do that. So.
This is what I think. I think he's going to have a pretty decent season, but I think next year in training camp he's going to lose his job to Cody Kessler, quarterback they drafted from USC, and I've heard Hugh Jackson really likes. I think they're gonna go with him at the start of next season. After RG3 doesn't perform so well in training camp and preseason, so that's what I think is gonna happen. Now we'll go to yay or nay. Well, we already kind of thought about this, but not in the exact way that it's worded here. So yay or nay, I'll ask myself the question first. Nobody has a chance to win the Rookie of the Year award other than Ezekiel Elliott. And I will say, yes, somebody does have a chance, but it is not very high. Jonah?
Yeah, I'd say anybody would most likely have a chance, but I would say
I can't
Elliott.
think of anybody else.
Elliott has it pretty much locked down at the moment.
At least for offense, I can't.
Yeah.
I'd see somebody like Will Fuller or Corey Coleman possibly getting an opportunity to win it, but like I said, I think it's pretty high that Elliott wins.
Well, especially in the situation he's in, too,
Mm-hmm.
with that line and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I
They're
think
gonna pound it.
he probably wins hands down, but who knows?
All right, we'll take another break and be right back to the You Don't Know Jack show right after this. Do you need a car for your next vacation or business trip, but don't want to take your own? Go to CarRental8.com and get 5% off your next car rental by using our promo code JACKSHOW5. That's JACSHOW5, all capital letters. We also have the link to get there on our website. Same car, less money, CarRental8.com. Now back to the show. And welcome back to the You Don't Know Jack show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. And now we will quickly, before we talk the college football topic, which we'll end the show with, we'll quickly talk about MVP candidates. Aaron, who do you got as your top MVP candidate? And give me a couple sleepers that you have as well.
I think probably Aaron Rodgers, honestly. Yeah. Sleepers? I don't know. It's tough. I don't really have any, I guess. I think Rodgers wins it probably hands down, honestly. And I'm kind of biased saying that because he is on my fantasy team. But he's got Jordy back, and he kind of had an off year last year, so he's probably ready to get out there. I don't like the Packers at all, but you can't deny his greatness, so I think he'll probably run away with it.
I'm going to say Antonio Brown wins it. Out of the shock of the world that a wide receiver wins MVP.
Yeah,
like,
see,
it's going to be shocking.
I would pick him, but I thought of that. Like,
I think he's going to make history this year. Like I've said in
I
past
would like
episodes.
to see him win it, but yeah, a receiver winning it's kind of.
And my sleepers are my possible other candidates. I would say, obviously, Rodgers has a chance to win it.
Ooh,
I would
that
say
must have been hard to say.
I would say Cam Newton is not going to even sniff the MVP this year.
Nope.
Tyler got him.
Julio could be up there.
Could be.
Julio will not be up there because the Falcons will not be prevalent. The Steelers could be prevalent. That's why they could have Brown win it.
I think I had the Falcons winning that division.
Tom Brady will not win it because he'll be out the first 4 games. First 4.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell won't win it. I'll say Russell Wilson has a possible chance just because I think...
Because you picked him up?
Because I picked him up on my fantasy team.
I don't think.
And partly because I think that offense really doesn't have much hope other than Russell Wilson. So he could put up some big numbers, which could lead him to the MVP. Because they lost Marshawn Lynch, and really the only...
What do you think about that one, Joe?
And they have a running back core that's like nobody right now.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to Sean Hill. The season starts.
No, you got to...
AP could be a sleeper.
Yeah, you got to give it to Calvin Johnson, all right?
Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
No, probably won't.
Yeah, I'd say...
Rodgers.
I'd say...
MVP and division crown? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'd probably say...
I don't want to be in this household when that happens.
I'd probably say Rodgers.
Oh.
Or Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is a sleeper.
Winning it, though? When's the last time
I'd say Antonio Brown.
That's what I'm saying. History's going to be made.
Antonio Brown, AP could possibly win it. Yeah, Cam Newton isn't going to be close at all. I'd say I think Andrew Luck
That's a good one.
has some potential to come back and have an explosive year. I'm actually kind of excited for Andrew Luck.
Yeah,
back.
Andrew Luck. Yeah.
Do you have him on your team?
No.
Oh.
You should
I
have
have Carson
got
Palmer.
him. Ooh, Palmer.
I have Wilson, and
Palmer.
I have Dalton as my
How
backup.
about
Palmer
Blake
could
Bortles?
be up there.
Blake
No.
Bortles? He could have well, you said the Jags are winning the
kidding.
division, boy.
Yeah,
Or
but
I don't know. I wouldn't say somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick or
no.
I hope not.
Gurley maybe.
Well, according to Brandon Marshall, Fitzpatrick and Cutler could win MVP.
Yeah, Cutler definitely. I think Cutler is in the same situation as RGIII. I think he needs to leave the Bears.
I think he needs,
needs
to
to
leave
leave
the
the
league.
NFL.
that too. People always defending Cutler. Like, he's still pretty good. Like, no, he's
Yeah,
not.
people will.
Well, he had a good. I'd say he had a pretty decent year last year, but
People will
I think
say
that defense
Cutler's
is
good and
awful.
Romo's not.
Yeah.
yeah.
That doesn't
That's
make
dumb.
any sense to me.
No,
Well,
Cutler
they've got
was
about
good.
the same amount of playoff wins, and Romo's had better.
I don't think Cutler
years.
has any.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I know he's got at least one because he made it to
Cutler-
the championship against the Packers like one
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Cutler doesn't have it anymore.
No.
Like, I don't know.
He never
some,
did.
Yeah. Some quarterbacks are still, like, consistent
I
like
think he
that,
might
though.
have made it
Like,
to the playoffs with Denver one year.
like
too.
Brady is still consistent.
I don't know.
Rodgers is still consistent. I'd say Wilson probably is, too.
Rodgers walks away with it. So.
But yeah, I don't know. There could be a possibility where Brady comes back and he doesn't do very well.
Gronk could win it
Yeah,
if he puts up monster numbers.
again.
All right, so those are the MVP talks,
Good old
and
Bronky.
quickly now we will finish this show by talking about about college football games to watch in Week 1. Obviously, the Hawkeyes play Miami of Ohio this coming Saturday.
Woo! That's the best game to watch ever.
Yeah. But we'll talk quickly here about first game that's possibly going to be interesting. Oklahoma versus Houston. And we're going to just go through the games quick, and then we're going to see which one each of us thinks that would be the most interesting. Georgia versus North Carolina. USC versus Alabama. Clemson versus Auburn. Ole Miss versus Florida State. And here's some honorable mentions. Appalachian State versus Tennessee.
Woo!
LSU versus Wisconsin.
Woo!
UCLA versus Texas A&M. And Notre Dame versus Texas. Aaron?
I'm going to go ahead and say Appalachian State. No. I think Iowa's game will probably be a blowout.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate. But
So what do you think will be the best games of these?
go back up. I forgot. There's like a whole thing.
It's Georgia versus North Carolina, USC versus Alabama, Clemson versus Auburn,
I think
Ole Miss
USC,
versus Florida
Bama
State.
will be good.
Okay.
Ole Miss, Florida State will be good. Yeah, Ole Miss has been good the past few years. I'd say those two mainly. I think LSU and Wisconsin might actually be really good.
Mm-hmm. It's at Lambeau Field.
Wisconsin's going to have a tough time stopping the big guy
Leonard.
back there.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I'd say the best matchup out of that.
USC, Alabama.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Jonah, what do you think?
I'd probably say the Wisconsin game.
Ooh, Jonah's going to
Okay.
cheer for Wisconsin.
I'd say
coming up.
LSU versus Wisconsin could be an underrated game this weekend. It could be
Yeah.
interesting.
I don't know that.
But I'm going to say the game that interests me the most is UCLA versus Texas A&M, because Josh Rosen, the quarterback for UCLA, is really good, and I think the Bruins could be really good this year. And Texas A&M got a Oklahoma transfer as their quarterback. He's supposed to be really good, so I'm looking forward to those two quarterbacks
I
going
don't know.
head to head.
I think I'm going to switch mine to Ole Miss, Florida State. That's going to be
Okay.
probably an instant classic.
That will be probably a good game. They still have Ole Miss still has Kelly or whatever.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
They don't have
Florida,
Treddy, though.
Florida State still
They have
has
Kelly, but not Treddy.
Florida State still has
So,
their running back. They were just talking about him the other day.
Dalvin Cook,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Sure
Said
he
he
didn't
could
get
be
drafted?
the Heisman. No, he's still there.
Okay.
Talking about him maybe being the Heisman this year, but I think McCaffrey probably already has it sewn up. For me, anyway. I think he's doing
I totally agree.
it, especially
I
after
think,
what he did to
I think
Iowa.
I think McCaffrey's got a great chance of winning Heisman.
Yeah.
Between him, I think Baker Mayfield's got a good shot at winning Heisman. Possibly Jake Rosen. I keep saying Josh. Jake Rosen from UCLA.
I just don't see any way McCaffrey doesn't win it.
Yeah.
Especially if he plays like he did last year, I just don't see it.
Yeah. All right, well, this has been the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. Join us again next week. We're going to hope to have an episode out for you guys before Thursday Night Football, the opener between the Broncos and the Panthers at Mile High.
Boo.
We will talk about predictions next week. That'll be a main part of the show, and we'll talk a little bit of college football week 1 recap and preview Sunday's games.
Who we cheering
also.
for Thursday? I think the Broncos.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that next week. Again, this has been the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. We will see you next time.
Carson loves Cam Newton.
Woo!
Hey listeners, Jonah and Aaron would like to encourage you to like their heavy metal band Crown of Desolation on Facebook at facebook.com/Crown of Desolation. They also encourage you to follow them on Twitter and Instagram, Twitter at twitter.com/Crown of Desolate or at Crown of Desolate, and Instagram at instagram.com/Crown of Desolation. Now back to the show.
Thanks for listening to the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. If you want to read articles, get more information, or have questions about the show, go to our website, youdon'tknowjackshow.com. You can subscribe and listen to the show on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher,